In this episode, cows are going crazy left, right and centre. We're dealing with two particularly nasty toe problems in cows' feet, and Kev has had enough.
I'm looking for a new job.
And I won't let it rush when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you.
What a day to... Keep spilling my coffee. Oh, what a day to be alive. Birds are singing, cows are in the field across the way. The sun is shining and it's not raining. Today we've got about 40 cows to do at Alan's farm, which sits on the coast down by Port William, which is where I grew up.
Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
Port William sits on the southwesterly coast of Wigtonshire, and it's only about a 15-minute drive for us.
So not everywhere has the perfect... Quiet! So not everywhere has the perfect setup. And this is one of those places, you just have to get around it. Luckily we've got this race system with us, so that really helps, but Kevin is still going to have to bring the cows through the parlour, which can be a bit of a daunting task, or a thankless task. Cows really don't like going through the parlour when they're not due to. Whenever we use a place that isn't the perfect setup, we use as much baler twine as we can to keep everything as stiff and rigid as possible. Movement is bad. Kev has got the task of bringing these cows in, and we want it to be as easy as possible. Having these two spaces for cows, so one will be at the front end, this guillotine gate goes up and down. So Kev can pull this rope behind, put one cow in, then that cow is in, you can see through this. So cow number two thinks, ha, I heard me, and is more inclined to come forward. So if you've got a cow waiting in the race, it is much easier to get them in. That being said, it's still not easy. Craig, like this is Alan, the world's best dairyman and the man with all the stories.
Come back, Alan! Come back, Alan! The world needs you, Alan! The world needs you!
I'll break your camera.
So Craig is still on holiday. Poor boy tells me he never gets a chance to be away, but he never seems to have a chance to be here either. It's ridiculous, isn't it? In all seriousness though, we really do miss them when they come to farms like this. Some farms are absolutely fine, practically by yourself, or when there's two of you. On farms like this, when you have to get the cow in, cow up, all 4 feet in the air and trim, 3 people are much handier. Luckily at this farm though, the cow's feet are not bad at all. A foot like this is clearly in good condition. She is not lame in the slightest, but this foot here is overgrown. There's a slight curl in here, and that curl is completely natural. The hoof horn is just overgrown, and that is where the curl is coming from. As my hair grows, it becomes curlier and curlier, and that is just the same as this cow's foot. There's nothing wrong with it, it just needs trimmed back a bit. So as I grab the grinder here, it's pretty obvious these feet don't need much done to them at all. All they really need done is a bit of rebalancing, a little bit of modelling out of the grinder, and then we quickly flip the paddle over to the right hand foot and do the same there. Again, not much needs done whatsoever, and while I've got the grinder in my hand, I might as well do as much as I can to both of the feet as possible before I grab the knife and finish them off with it. I just want to make sure I get this model as wide as possible, because the more I take out of this, the more comfortable the cow will be. We're basically allowing the pedal bone in here to sink down into this little void, and then we deepen the model on the inside claw, mostly so that the slurry can actually disperse from in between the feet, and to make sure there's nothing wrong up there. And then once that's done, we flip the flipper around and move on to foot number 2. Again, just want to get this model as deep as we possibly can. I get a lot of emails from you guys, and it's weird where these videos take you. They seem to de-stress you. And I get emails which are extremely passionate and deeply emotive. I just want to say, anybody who sent me an email like that, I've been in those places, and don't worry, there's always a way out. Things will work out, I promise you. Looking at this foot here, this claw is clearly a lot bigger than this inside claw. So as I take the grinder here, I'm going to reduce much more from the inner claw. I need to reduce its entire side, from the heel all the way down to the toe like this. And once that's done, I shorten the end of the toe, and I'm aiming for this bit here to be about 5mm thick, which thankfully now it is. All I need to do now is balance up that lateral claw and begin the model. Because this was overgrown, you can see the problems beginning. This is the very start of a sole ulcer. The real problem that routine trimming is aimed at avoiding. I'm actually starting to wonder if this is a full-blown ulcer or not. I thought it would disappear. It seems to be getting blacker and blacker. Look at that. There's a bit of a double sole in here. I truly wasn't expecting that at all. This cow isn't lame, but she's obviously on her way to becoming lame. Or maybe she is. Maybe she's just sore on both front feet. Remember, I haven't done that front right foot yet. If a cow had problems on 2 of her feet, she's not lame on one more than the other. No, she's not. She can't show lameness, can she? Because she's sore on both. So she's going to be sore and sore on both. You get what I mean? She's not going to favour one over the other because both are sore. That was quick. Right. This double sole is actually worse than I thought. Look, it's extending right up to her heel. I was using this cow as an example of pure routine trimming. It's turned out that we're actually having to deal with this problem. You can hear that noisy cow in the background. I'm not sure what's going on with her. She's maybe having a bad day. Like I said, we all do have them. I know I whittle on about my book a lot, and I was mentioning there about people sending me emails, but I'm aware that people from all walks of life watch these videos. And I'm also aware that people from all walks of life have problems in them. I just want to say, you wouldn't believe some of the problems I've had in my life, and I've overcome them, so can you. Right. This is getting worse than I thought. Her entire sole is actually starting to peel away. We're definitely going to need a block on this, which if she'd asked me before she came in or as I started this foot, I definitely wouldn't have thought about it. Right, we'll just leave Kev to put that block on while we do the other foot.
I take the opportunity to spray milk in Graham's face from her udder.
I didn't expect that there. Look, he's actually got milk in his beard, look. At least it looks like milk. So sometimes when you trim a cow's foot, it just feels really difficult to get the shape and balance perfect. And this foot seems to be going that way. As a hoof trimmer, you're constantly analysing and reassessing the foot as you go. You're looking for signs that you could go too far. And for some reason, this foot feels like it's much shallower than a normal cow's foot would be. So I'm really struggling to get it looking beautiful. But then I remember back to when I first started hoof trimming. I was taught by a guy called Peter Kloosterman, who is now a bit of a friend. I'm not sure if he would describe me as a friend, but I would say he's a friend. The very first thing that Peter taught me wasn't anything to do with a knife or the size and shape of a cow's foot or the anatomy of a cow's foot. The first thing he taught me was that hoof trimming shouldn't be called the 5-step Dutch method or the Atlas method or the Kansas style method. The Dutch call it functional hoof trimming, and that is the core of what we're doing. We're trying to make a hoof more functional. It doesn't matter if it's beautiful, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. What matters is that you take a cow's foot and you give it more functionality. You make it more comfortable and more usable for the cow. And in this case, that's exactly what we're doing. Now that they're level, problems shouldn't arise. So you can see this hoof horn is soft, and that's not good for the cow. spraying iodine on it will really help to dehydrate it, harden it up, protecting it from the outside elements, while hopefully that block wears away and the hoof horn thickens up. And away she goes while we crack on with the rest of the cows. By the way, Iona, who looks after the merch, has asked me to clear out a little bit of space because there is a lot more coming in. So right now we have a big offer on. We have 25% off all of these hoodies, as expertly modelled by Kev, and a bit of code brown on his sleeve. Look at that. Why would you do that? This is meant to be an advert.
Wasn't the plan.
Wasn't the plan?
No.
Well, right, anyway, let's model it off, look. Come on. No, don't take it off.
Let's take it off.
It's PG rated. We can't take it off.
T-shirt on.
What? What t-shirt have you on?
Oh,
look at that. Oh, look. Oh, wait, no, you can't buy that. You can't buy that.
Good T-shirts.
They are good t-shirts. So you can actually buy one of these hoodies if you go on thehoofgp.com. There are a couple of hundred left, which won't take long to sell out, especially now that we've taken 25% off. If you want them, be very, very quick. We can ship them all over the world, obviously. And if you buy something else, when you buy that hoodie, the shipping for the second thing will basically be free. So sometimes it's good to do that. Just a little top tip.
101 now.
We're not selling that. If you want the code brown on it, you have to pay extra. Look at him, by the way. Can we just appreciate this? Kev has lost 2 stone. £28. That is a lot. Well done, Kevin. I know this cow is lame in her back right foot because Kev has already given me a heads up. And you can tell as I'm grinding away here, there is not much to remove. This cow's feet are well looked after, but they're also walking on stony tracks every day of the week. And as such, accidents happen. This cow is very lame on this foot. And I think the root of the problem is here. Definitely not liking it anyway, is she? This is a white line ulcer. Can I get a block, please, Kev? These can be very sore at times. Although we're uncovering it and kind of opening it up to the elements, it was already open. It's just it was a pinhole that was allowing the dirt and manure into this area. Flick. That's it. She can't have been lame for long though. His feet are well looked after. You saw before we even started, there's no overgrowth really to speak of.
Because of the location of problems like this, they are exceptionally hard for the cow to hide from, so I'm hoping we've fixed her with this one simple trim.
That is trimmed out really nicely. I'm really happy with that. These are everyday problems happening to cows all over the world, being fixed by farmers, hoof trimmers and vets every day, all over the world. They're a really easy fix. Easy fix. Get it? We're sponsored by them. You got it, didn't you? You did, yeah. I did it.
Hey, now look into my eyes.
Put simply, I love this life.
You're my ticket to paradise. Hey, now everything's alright. We've been longing for each other, and it feels like I'm okay. about you. This is something that I know for sure. It's just something about you. I just want more. Tell me what you wanna do right now. Tell me what you wanna do tonight. I really don't care as long as I'm with you.
Just like that, we are not finished, but we are finished for the next 5 minutes because Kev Boy is making the coffees like a good little princess. By the way, things are happening. Something has been happening for the last, like...
Yes. Graham's got his hand up.
He went to the camera. He went up too high when he did it.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're the one holding the camera, and I went out of the frame of the camra.
He was perfect. He was perfect, but it wasn't.
So
And you're like jumping up and down.
Oh, okay. So, and there was nothing you could have done about it.
Well, I tell you.
Look. See that?
It wouldn't have looked as good.
Yeah, true. Ignoring that. So things are happening. Something has been happening actually for about the past... How long's that been happening, that thing that... 9? Not the pay...
The what?
Pay rise you keep talking about. Is that what you're talking about?
One of us keeps talking about a pay rise. No, not the pay rise. That'll be happening for an awful long time to come. We've been doing something for the last 9 or 10 weeks that has been taking a long time. We are trying to buy something right now. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's something major, something really, really big, but it's not huge. It's not a farm, so don't get carried away. It's definitely not a farm, but it is something really big. And I don't really want to say exactly what it is because I'm scared that it doesn't happen. But if it does happen, it's going to happen on the 29th of this month. Ashley has also been working really hard to create a new mascot for the channel, and it is complete, but they're not here yet, so I'm not going to unveil them yet, but they are really, really cool. You guys are still going crazy for these cups, by the way, so thank you very much for all of that support. Again, those hoodies are 25% off until they are disappeared, until they are gone, and then there will be none left because they will all be... Wait, what? You're supposed to finish the sentence there, Graham.
I had to face it for him.
Ah, okay. They will be all gone. So if you do want a bit of a bargain, feel free to head over to thehoofgp.com. If you don't, that is fine. Go over and have a little look. There's some stories on the front page about how I started and things, and it's quite an interesting place to be, actually. Yes, that's good.
These cows finish being milked around 7 AM, so they've been standing in the pen waiting for us for a few hours before we even arrive on farm. That leads to a build-up of manure, only adding to Kevin's troubles whilst trying to get them in. Cows are very herd-orientated animals. They want to be with their herdmates, and as such, it can prove exceptionally difficult to separate them off sometimes, as you're just about to see.
I can see why you get annoyed.
These situations are sent to try us. I actually sent Graham back to video Kevin getting some of these cows in to show you how difficult it can be getting them in. And case in point, she's fine, by the way. She will get out. It won't be an issue.
Although that is true, the easiest, safest and quickest way to get her out is to have her jump out by herself. It looks horrendous, but I'm just glad that she's out.
Enjoy your job.
No comment today.
She's absolutely fine, look. She's just really riled up. She's not hurt herself in any way, which is perfect. She's definitely got that look. She has got that look, hasn't she? See how her head's up and her ears are pinned back. She's basically watching every move that we make and ready to go for us if we get too close. We're just going to let her away. She's not lame in the slightest little bit, but we don't want to upset her any more than than she already has. Get. Go. Hey. Get out. It's not that I'm scared of cows, because I'm not, but I am cautious and wary of cows who've got their backs up like that.
And back to it we go. Although we do and can have troublesome cows, and there's no doubt that they get stressed out in situations like this. It's important that we do get them into the crush to avoid lameness, or at least prevent it at the very earliest point, and keep cows as comfortable as possible.
I'm looking for a new job.
Kev just asked me if I wanted to see how the day has ended. Can't be good. This is why having a dedicated area for the cows to be shed out of is valuable. Although the last cow didn't hurt herself in any way at all, it's stressful for them. She's not been trimmed now, she could have hurt herself. It's stressful for us. And Kev has just lost his job because he's done it twice now. Back the way. We're thinking this time she's better going back the way.
She's desperately trying to get grip on the ground to pull herself back over the bar, but she's struggling, so we're going to need to try to force her. Panic over, and again, she's completely fine.
To be totally honest, I'm not sure why he didn't just do that the first time. Why did you not just do that the first time?
Not treated properly by my employer.
Right, just Jumpy McJumperton to do now. That's not a real name, by the way, I just... because she jumped over. Anyway, just the last cow to do. Let's see if her being rather apprehensive to come into the crush was warranted or not, because I think her feet look pretty good. It's not been a bad day at all, apart from the obvious cows jumping everywhere. I actually said I thought her feet were going to be pretty good, and she is walking really well, which is why I thought her feet would be good, but I was wrong. If you look here, you can see previous marks from where she's been trimmed, and she's got some sort of problem on her toe. Cows that have problems here are represented to us again and again until they're fixed. So it's no surprise that although she's walking well, Alan's given us her back to keep her on the right road. And because her feet are in such good condition, Kevin is just trimming her foot out quickly using the knife alone, because all she needed was a little model. Oh. So this is a case of toe necrosis. Necrosis meaning dead tissue, so the interior of her foot has actually started to rot away. You can see where we've previously trimmed out as much of the wall as possible. There's no doubt this has been a really serious problem, and that has been wide open at some point. Right, so let's use this just to space our claws apart. We use this sometimes so that we can just separate them so that we're not cutting into one digit when we really don't want to be touching it. The grinder is quite wide, and right now I only want to trim this away and flatten this off. So with the grinder here, all I'm doing is reducing the overall height of that lateral or outside claw and flattening off the inner one, making sure I get rid of all the powdered hoof horn, because glue will not stick to that, and it's really important that this block that we're applying stays on for the full duration. Problems on the toe are difficult to escape for the cow unless they have a block that they can rely on. If we scan round this foot, you can really see how deteriorated it is. That part you can see right now is the corium, fully exposed and dehydrated now, because last time we saw her, we probably dressed it with iodine and salicylic, which just goes to show the job it can do. Right, I'm just gently gonna remove this outer wall. It's doing no use for her whatsoever now. You can see all of that blackness means that it's not been touching the ground, which is fantastic. And I just want to make sure that the muck has nowhere to accumulate. Right, I'm looking at this right now thinking that it is healing really, really well. And I'm conscious I don't want to interrupt that healing progress, so I need to be careful. I do want to make sure we make the most of it though, so I'm getting rid of these tiny little portions of detached hoof horn. I'm not sure if you can all see it, but up here, this wall here, this is the axial wall, is completely disconnected. You can actually see a crack running from the tip of my finger right the way down to about here. And that all needs to be removed. I'm gonna put my knife in here using the tip of my knife, the hook, and flick it away. I'm hoping that this just kind of fades away to nothing. So right now it is looking like it's going to. These are notoriously hard to fix. So even this progress is really, really, really good to see. which is why if I make a mistake, I'll be very upset at myself. Getting it to this point is probably the hardest part. Now it's just up to the cow to regrow it really. We've killed the infection that was inside there, affecting the bone inside her foot. It just needs to regrow now. I'm actually going to model this out a little bit more because she doesn't need this part at all. We'll widen it up, make sure that pedal bone isn't impeding the growth from the corium. Right, I'm actually going to use the grinder here to remove that portion of the dorsal wall, which is the wall hoof horn around the front. Over the years, having used the grinder so much, day on day, week on week, month on month, you've now become incredibly gentle and accurate with it. And you're constantly reading the animals to see how they're going to react. She is staying perfectly still for us. Right, we're getting really close to the corium. It's important that we take as much of this muck out though, and we will redress it with iodine again to try and get it as hard as possible. Lovely. It is still slightly open, but we're not going to bandage it. It's only a very, very minute problem now. Well, she probably doesn't say that, but from my point of view, it is. And iodine should take care of that. Her other back foot is in really good shape, but she's in the crush, so we might as well give it a little top up by rebalancing it and modelling out the traditional site to make sure that she's good to go for the next few months. All that jumping around, and once she was in the crush, she was good as gold. A-star plus. Right. It just takes a while for them to understand that you're not going to do anything they don't actually need done. She's starting to calm down already. Right. Let's see how she's walking with that block on. So she's walking away. Clearly, she is not walking fantastically on that back left foot. We've been playing around with it, and although it is healing really well, it will still be slightly inflamed within the hoof capsule itself. She even gives us a little look back to say thank you very much. Right. With all of that done, cows finished jumping, us finished trimming, and a little bit of washing up to do. Please remember, if you are after some merch and you want a bargain, then head over to thehoofgp.com where you'll get 25% off. It's 35%. I don't see why I find it that hard to say. A couple of the hoodies, they should be highlighted. They should be highlighted in red. Okay, see you there. By the way, I should have mentioned in Scotland, we get all 4 seasons in one day, and today is no different. You saw the beautiful weather on the way here. I told you it was a beautiful day, actually. What a day to be alive. Oh, how things change here in southwest Scotland. It is absolutely blowing a hoolie. Blowing a hoolie.
But it is still very beautiful.